Well, it's been nearly a quarter of a century, 23 years to be exact, since Scotland last featured in a major European tournament. This is big. This is really big. And I, for one, can't wait for Monday when Scotland face the Czech Republic in their opening match of Euro 2020. Pat Nevin is with me. Pat, what kind of shape, in your view, are Scotland in going into these Euros?
I think Scotland are in a better position than they've been for many years, arguably 23 years. Certainly we've got a standard of player there that is, international class, but really almost world class. I would say that about Kieran Tierney immediately as a world class footballer, would get in just about any squad. But Robertson, no problem there, McTominay. And you go through that squad and there's enough players there that we can feel comfortable that we can be competitive with just about any team at the moment. Now, I'm not saying for a moment we're going to win it. The Euros are tough. But looking at the group of players we've got, and on top of that, what the manager's actually done, brought belief to the squad, structure and organisation in the squad. I mean, it was there before to some degree with Strachan before that, but Stevie Clarke has done an amazing job in what he's done. And just look back at what Stevie Clarke did before that at Kilmarnock, and indeed before that in his other jobs. It's been quite incredible. So, yes, we're in a very good place. We're in a confident place. We seem in a happy place. Does that mean we look as if we're going to qualify? Well, that's a different story altogether because it's a tough group.
The two friendlies against the Netherlands and Luxembourg both showed really encouraging signs, didn't they?
I loved watching the Netherlands game because that's a decent side, and I don't know if the Netherlands absolutely really went for it until about 20 minutes to go. But we still had to work incredibly hard, but kept them out for most of the time. Now, they scored 2 goals against us, but that's unusual. And against Scotland, the way we are structured and organised, we don't give away too many goals. So that was a good thing to see us being competitive against the Netherlands, who are a very decent team. The Luxembourg one was interesting for a huge amount of other reasons. Saddening that they got a player sent off, rightly sent off, but we could have done with an 11v11 with a bit of a workout. But the positive that we're taking from that game were they're a hard nut to crack these days, the Luxembourg team. I mean, just have a look at the recent results. They're quite stunning. So they're not the useless mob they used to be. And I say that for a player who played against them and only got a 0-0 in my time with Scotland in one of the games. But what we did see is we see 1 or 2 players coming on. And the youngsters, I suppose we've got to mention Billy Gilmour. Billy came on in the half hour or so that he was on. He just controlled the game. And we actually looked better with him on the field. So that's another brilliant option that we've got through. And even in the right back area now, that's another area we've got another option after the game. So, yeah, lots of positives from that as well. And again, we didn't get beat. It's a good long run with very few defeats now.
Yeah, just talking about Billy Gilmour, Pats. I mean, he's a terrific player. Does he deserve, given that he has shown what he brings to the table, does he deserve a place in the starting 11 on Monday against the Czech Republic?
Well, he's good enough. I'd say that. Deserves an interesting word, but I'd say he's good enough to start. I wouldn't even worry about that for a second. I've watched him often enough at Chelsea, seen what he's been doing, and he lives in the atmosphere that's surrounded by Jorginho, by N'Golo Kante, by Kovacic, playing against some of the best players in the world, and he doesn't look that place. In fact, he looks one of the better ones sometimes. So he's good enough. So that's number one. Does he deserve to have a place? Well, that's a different question, because remember the guys that got us there, the McGregors of this world, the McTominays, McGinns. I mean, they've worked incredibly hard to get as far as we have to get to these championships. And of course, for young Billy to walk in and get a starting place in the first game, that's a big call. And I'm pretty convinced it's not a call that Stevie Clarke will make. However, will he be used in games after that in these championships? Absolutely. I absolutely be surprised, shocked, and amazed he doesn't play some part, and probably an important part in some of the games that are coming up. If you look at the English and, of course, the Croatians as well, they're technically very, very good. We've not got a better technical player than Billy. He's that good, on the ball and creating things and more specifically controlling games. So, yeah, deserved, difficult one. Good enough, not a problem. He is.
What makes Billy so special?
Very tough one. Because I watch him play with Jorginho, particularly. He's very like Jorginho at Chelsea. Now, Jorginho gets a bad press with some people. The guy's absolutely amazing. I mean, he just controls games, and there's very few people in world football that can do it like that. and he's, you know, top man controlling games for the Italian national side, and they're a very good side. So, but he stands beside Jorginho and he looks exactly the same. And I'm thinking, well, you're learning a lot from him. And then I think about it. No, you're not actually. You had it. You had it before you left Scotland. And he did. He had that technical ability of always being comfortable to receive the ball. Doesn't matter who's around him. It can be 2 or 3 players. Great at picking the right passes. Phenomenal confidence in that ability that he's got. And he's right to be confident in it because he has got the ability to control the ball and dance past players as well from that deep midfield area. He is the perfect player with all the attributes for that area of the field. Now, he's not the tallest. I'm going to stick by him for that, as I would do. But then, who's the other player in that area that's one of the best in the world? Well, he's N'Golo Kante. Billy's bigger than N'Golo Kante. So if you're good enough, you're big enough.
Yeah, very intelligent player. Okay, you're picking the team. Who's in it? Who's making the cut, Pat?
It's a really interesting thing to pick that team because I think, Marshall probably get the shot and the goal. But if it was Craig Gordon, you shrug your shoulders, say that's fine. Tierney's going to be left centre back. Robertson's going to be ahead of him. If we play a 3-4-2-1, I mean, you've got to have Shea Adams up front. I think he's fabulous for us. I honestly know that Scotland fans like him, but he's better than you think. Watch him a lot down in England. He's technically the best we've got by a distance. So, but who plays off him? I wouldn't be disappointed if it was McGinn and Armstrong who played off him, because when you need to go back into midfield, but both of them have had fantastic seasons. What that does is gives you the opportunity of getting McTominay in the midfield alongside probably McGregor. But, that's a question mark. But I think it's the right fullback area. And the 2 centre-backs, it's probably going to be Hanley is one of them. The right centre-back and the right full-back area, or right wing-back area, that's the other questions, really. And, whoever Clarkey chooses for them, he's probably got 2 or 3 options for each of them. And I'd be quite calm with any of them. Probably adapt through the game, the tournament. One thing I would say is that every one of those players just about will have to be used. At the end of a season like this, with this much tiredness, with those many games put together in such a tight time, and the fact that we've got 3 games in quick succession here, look, you're all going to be needed. That core group of 7, they'll probably have to stay on the pitch the most of the time, but the rest of them, they'll all have to be rotated. So starting lineup, yeah, it's important, but it's not the most important thing. It's who comes in when we need to make the changes, and I'm pretty confident with most of the guys we've got coming in.
How far will Scotland go, do you think? Dare we dream? Will we qualify?
I think we can dream. Look, the English are a phenomenal group. Talent-wise, they have got another golden generation here. So if they don't make it out of this group, there'll be fury. There'll be absolute fury. There should be. They should be good enough to do that. Which leaves ourselves Croatia and Czech Republic. We know we've done Czech Republic twice. One of them, obviously, I think it was a second or third team we beat, but we've beaten them twice. We've nothing to fear there. It's going to be a tight game, but we're capable of doing it. And home advantage always helps. Then it comes down to the Croatia game. Technically very good. Modric, pretty special. Kovacic, very special. But I would say Modric isn't the player he was before. Watched him twice in person against Real Madrid recently. When we played Chelsea, we were playing them, and he get run off. And if we close him down, he won't be able to live with us. And he was one of my favourite players I've ever watched in the Premier League era. So can we do them? Maybe, maybe not. Do you know what I really want? I'll put up with us coming third, but being one of the best third place finishes, because there's every chance that gets you a brilliant draw in the next round. So can we qualify? Yes. Will we? I think there's a 50-50 chance. If it's third, I'm pretty happy about it. And it doesn't matter, because if we qualify, Stevie Clarke in this group has done what no men's A team for Scotland has ever done before. They've got out of the group. And I don't care how we do it.